actually getting 12 miles to the gallon. I don't think it's that good, honestly. So today I'm going to find out, and what I'm going to do is actually right now I'm going to reset my fuel economy. I've got 161,771 miles. Reset my fuel economy, and now I'm going to use the GPS to go to my parents' address. I get the best fuel economy, and it is 22 miles. So we're going to do a calculation, and basically what we're going to do is we're going to take the miles that I drive divided by the fuel that I put in when we get back to that same gas station. And we're not going to use the computer in the vehicle. We're going to use the GPS and the miles that I've driven. So we'll compare them at the end. But that says 22 miles. That's pretty accurate. I don't think that's going to be accurate. We're going to find out. We're going to do a calculation. Little algebra, trigonometry, high-level math, division and stuff, and see what kind of fuel economy we get. Another thing I'm doing for this video is I'm driving like a normal human. A normal human that knows how to drive. So, driving the speed limit, not accelerating wild, trying to keep it tracked in a straight line. Consistent speed is key. Alright, so currently rolling right along at about 50 miles an hour, and the computer in the truck says 18.3 miles to the gallon. Alright, so we're about to pull up my parents' house. I am at a quarter of a tank left. No, I'm just kidding. But anyway, about to pull up my parents and gonna unplug the GoPro, charge it for a little bit, and get some stuff for the property because deer season's coming up. Gotta change the batteries, put some feed out, check the cameras. So, it's hot. It's 104 degrees here in Bamalama and humid. I'm thirsty. We did see a few deer on the camera. I don't know if I'm going to include that in the video because it was a pretty long video, but I might cut it up. There's some pretty funny pictures on there. But if I don't, a bunch of does, a few small bucks, coyotes, and some turkeys. Can't wait for hunting season. Hit it hard first couple weekends and then hit it hard again during the rut. Our season here in Alabama starts, rifle season starts November 18th or 21st, something like that. But anyway, so according to the computer, we've driven 35 miles. We'll see how that adds up whenever we get back to the gas station. Yeah, I'm really interested to see what this thing says and how many miles a gallon I'm actually getting. Been taking it real easy, like normal driving, not accelerating hard. Just really being nice, like usual, be a law-abiding citizen, never over the speed limit. About halfway back to the gas station that we filled up at this morning. Currently, the vehicle says 16 put 3.678. 3.678. So 60.9 divided by 3.678 equals 16.5 miles to the gallon. Let's see how accurate the computer is. Well, I guess that would be how accurate the computer is. So that's how many miles, and then the computer says that it is 67. 67 divided by 3.678 was 18.2. So, according to the computer in the truck, it should say 18.2 miles to the gallon, given that it showed 67 miles, and I put in 3.678 gallons. So let's just do that again, just to be sure. 67 divided by 3.678 equals 18.2, and I actually drove 60.9 divided by 3.678 is 16.5. So I actually got 16 and a half miles to the gallon, and my dash is showing 17.1. So which one do we go with? It's probably going to be around there somewhere. So let's just do 16.5 plus 18.2 plus 17.1 divided by 3. 3 equals 17.2. So that's pretty close. If you add up all the numbers, divide it by 3, you get an average of the 3 averages, or 17.2 miles to the gallon, which is pretty close to what the dash is saying. So that could be a way that it's doing it. I don't know. But if you take all the averages, average them up, you get 17.2. So that's a tenth of a gallon off. Obviously, this isn't a science. I only drove 60 miles. But in that 60 miles, I did use 3.67 gallons. So that's the conclusion of that math. Alright, so my GoPro filled up on memory, so it cut off there at the last second. But yeah, so the miles per gallon on the vehicle is actually pretty accurate. I was a little surprised. It was, about a mile per gallon off. Obviously it was only 60 miles, so not quite a science, but you get an idea that your miles per gallon on your vehicle can be accurate, but it can also be inaccurate depending on a lot of different variables. So yeah, that's still kind of a open-ended to me right now. Truck says 13.6 miles to the gallon, so it could be 14 and a half, or it could be 12 and a half. I'd like to do a longer mile per gallon video and run a full tank through it at some point. Maybe when I get these new tunes figured out. So video on that coming soon. But anyway, yeah, this morning I like to do the Bible verses at the end of the videos, and I'm going to start doing them at the beginnings. But this morning I got up and I was thinking about science, and I love science, and I think that science and the Bible go along together. A lot of people don't think that's possible, but it is. And I was thinking, does the Bible talk about atoms? I believe atoms, the idea of atoms first came up around 200 or 300 BC, but they weren't actually discovered until the late 1800s. But Hebrews 11:3 actually states, "By faith we understand that the universe was formed by God's command, so that what is seen was made out of what was not visible. It was not made of what was visible. So right there, the Bible's saying that everything that is made, that we can see, is made out of things that we can't see. So Hebrews 11:3 is talking about atoms, and I've done a lot of research on this verse, and looked into it a pretty good bit, and it's the original Greek words for that literally means with your eye, what can be seen cannot be seen, is made out of what cannot be seen with your eye. So little hermeneutical and exegetical study on that. It is literally saying that what is seen with your eye is made out of what is not seen. So yeah, the Bible talks about atoms, and Hebrews was written, I believe, 600 BC, so long before anyone else ever thought about the idea of atoms, and it was stated as a fact. So yeah, the Bible and science, I think they line right up. So anyway, if y'all like these videos, let me know, and I'll try to get some more out. The next video is about